Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Unveiled Voices. I'm Anifah, one of your hosts, as usual, and we have with me.
Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is still Mariam. It has not changed. I feel like that's my intro that I use every
Your name is
episode.
still
My
Mariam.
name is still Mariam. I see my name will change.
I
Yeah,
mean,
welcome back to
it,
another episode of Unveiled Voices.
you can decide to get a new name every week or something just for the sake of the podcast. One of our friends or one of our mutuals does that thing where she actually has these weird names on Twitter.
Yeah. She's always
I don't
actually,
want, I don't want to
yeah.
mention her name. She knows who she is. A lot of people also know who this person is. So don't exchange names. Shout out to you. But yeah, welcome back everyone to this episode. This episode we'll be talking about community building. Particularly as a Muslim woman, we're going to explore it from different angles, but we're going to, shed light on how we see it as Muslim women. But before we do that, as we do every
As
week,
usual.
let's not break tradition. How was your week, Maya?
My week was okay. So, as usual, the week after vacation is you trying to even remember what your job description is. I think I spent Tuesday, Wednesday catching up on my emails, backlog. Thursday, Friday, trying to understand everything that I've promised people that I would do after my vacation. You know, when you're going on vacation, you're like, don't worry, let's circle back when I'm back from my break, and then you come back and you
Is
find
that
out that
circle back thing actually a valid use of?
what
I feel like I just hear it. I don't know what it means.
let's circle. It's all tautology-ish, but that's what everybody
You're
says.
circling and then
Yeah,
you're going
circling.
back
Yeah,
again.
exactly. Yeah, circling back. Yeah, so that was more of that. And the weekend was actually very, very nice. Saturday we spent Saturdays indoors. Yeah, it was very
You skipped many days. So is that Monday, Tuesday
no
catching
no.
up?
So Monday was a bank holiday. Monday
Oh
was
yeah.
when I came back.
Yeah,
Then
yeah, yeah,
Tuesday,
actually.
Tuesday, Wednesday was catching up. Thursday, Friday was circling back on all of the things I said I was going to come back to do
But
after my break. Yeah, exactly. It was just like, okay, let me just figure out what my job description is. So yeah,
Mhm.
and Saturday was restful. Sunday was restful as well. Wait, when did we come to your house? Was it Saturday or Sunday?
I
Sunday.
think it was Sunday,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Then Sunday we came to you guys' place. Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Alhamdulillah. You still sound very relaxed. I think the holiday vibe is still there. How long before it zaps away? And
this week, oh, it's this week. I already see it
this week
coming.
is already looking like it's going to take
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, it's this week.
May Allah make it for you.
I mean. How about you? How was your week?
Yeah, I really needed the bank holiday break. So I went into the weekend, the long weekend, thinking I need to actually visit one of my friends who she's always the one coming to my house, and I was like, I'm gonna go on Saturday. I really underestimated how much I just needed to rest, and I had to just text her like, babes, I don't think I'll show up. No vex. What I tried to do was we caught up over the phone for like 2 hours or so plus. So I tried to make up for it. But yeah, bank holiday weekend was really nice. Going into the week, maybe because it was a 3-day weekend, I felt more relaxed and, at ease. It also helped that I finished that project that was, a bit challenging. And the next thing I had to pick up was not like a fully fledged project. It was just a mini thing. And so picked that up, wrapped it up basically that last week. So compared to the previous week, it was better. Even in my one-to-one, I think it came across and they were like, oh, you mentioned this in your one-to-one last week. How are you feeling this week? I was like, did I say that? It just goes to show you how like we human beings always forget. When we are in the thick of something, it's like that's the end of the world. And it's like, oh my God, how would this thing turn out? And then once the trouble is gone and then you're chill, you're like, wait, what exactly happens in between? So yeah, alhamdulillah was a good bank holiday weekend. It was a good week as well. And then you guys came to ours Sunday, which was very nice. You also brought something for me. I haven't even opened it yet, but thank you so much for the gift. And yeah, the catch-up was really interesting that Sunday. I feel like there were lots of stories told.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe that's a conversation for another.
Yeah.
Again, those stories that were told the day you guys came, not trying to like dive into the depths of it, but if I look at some of the episodes we've done in the podcast, it just reinforces that you guys, we really need to keep doing our best.
Yeah.
Like try to be 100% for the most part. Rest, come back to it, but yeah,
Give it to your
life is not
best.
it's not a
Yeah.
game. Yeah, it's not a game or literally we really have this one life. But yeah, I think yeah, pretty much that's it.
That's nice. So what are you looking forward to this week as well?
Okay, so this week I am only gonna be at work for 4 days out of the 5 days. So I'm taking Friday off.
Yeah, okay.
So and there's this project I'm working on, which in contrast to the other thing that I've done, I feel like this one is well scoped. I wrote like a whole doc, getting feedback people that are more familiar, and I feel like okay, there's less ambiguity going in. I'm hoping that will mean that it's going to be fast and I can get all that done in 4 days. But yeah, let's see. I think that's one thing I'm excited about this week. What else? Yeah, honestly, there's a road trip we planned, me and my husband, for the weekend. So looking forward to that. Yeah. What about you? What are you looking for?
I mean, I already know this week is going to be hectic, so I'm just bracing up
The
for
first week of the month.
yeah, exactly. So I'm just what would we move.
Yeah, like only way is
Only- exactly. We move.
Allow it to be for us. Allow it to be for us. Before we go into what we have today, we got some feedback from the last episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, basically people were like they really liked the level of interaction in that episode. First of all, to our loyal listeners, we don't take it for granted at all, right? And obviously because you guys like this very interactive style, we'll probably do it a lot more. But at any point you get tired of it, and we're here for you, our listeners. We'll try to reshuffle things around to work for everyone. But yeah, thank you again for the feedback, and Mariam and I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do.
Right, let's go into it. So we want to talk about community building today. Right, before we talk about the building, what does community actually mean to you, Mariam?
When I think about community, it's about a sense of belonging. So, and even like looking at the premise of our podcasts, the premise of even living here in the UK, like everybody wants that sense of community, that group of people you can relate to, that group of people that kind of like you guys share a lot of similar interests, you have probably similar ideologies and all of that. So I think for me, if I think about community, that would be that. So then community would then be in terms of your friendship community in terms of okay, your Muslim community in sense of your nationality community, even from work community as well, that would probably be community. And if you look at all of that, so like I said, is that sense of belonging because we have a lot of things in common, we have a lot of shared beliefs and all of that. So I think for me that's what I would see community as. How about you?
You hit the nail on the head, and you touch on an important piece of that. A single person can be, part of different communities. One of the things I wanna, I guess, shine the light more on is that usually when people of our generation or even younger talk about community, they talk about it like it's this mythical thing that is standalone, that we don't really know what makes
it
it
is.
up, right? It's like this opaque entity. But that is not the case, right? And when I think about community, I think about relationships. Like that is the very core of it, right? So anything we say about quote unquote the communities we belong to or the groups we belong to, the thing that underpins it is the relationships. And so going back to what I said earlier about how people of our generation talk about it like no one wants to do X anymore. No one wants to do Y anymore. What comes to my mind is like, what have you done? Right?
About
So we're
this.
like, oh, everybody just cutting people off, blah, blah, blah. Are you not cutting people
Cutting
off?
people off, yeah.
When last did you forgive the people that offended you? Or,
Yeah.
so, or when last did you just call people, check up on them? Right?
Yeah.
So, to add to what you said, it's about relationships and it's really whatever we make of it, right? You can't hands up and say the community is you are one of the you're one of the entities in that community, right? And so we have to take responsibility for it. To go into it a bit further, because as you mentioned earlier, right, there are different types of communities you can belong to. If you think about this definition you've given and you know what I've just said, how does that definition change within the context of being a Muslim woman? So what do you think differentiates the community of Muslim women from, I don't know, just any other community?
So we've already defined community as like people that they have that shared beliefs, and then you're bringing being a Muslim woman into that equation. So obviously is relating more to people that share your ideologies of Islam. I'm relating more to people that share your way of life, basically. So obviously you would have people wearing the hijab, people having their journey and their paths towards becoming better Muslims, all of that. So I think the nitty-gritty of and the importance of Islam then comes into play. So the conversations you'll be having will definitely be centric around Islam, because again, there's also the women bits where you would have like conversations around. I can't remember the other. I think it was one of the the iftar programs, and we're having conversations around like for Muslim women the guslu, like for the hair, like African women, and there should be some online contest to like we have afro and all of that. So yeah, those kind of conversations are around being a woman and also being a Muslim would be the kind of conversations that you be having. And I find those kind of communities very enriching, because there's a bit of, so you have all of the 1001 things that you go through as a woman. Then building on top of that, you also wanting to practice your religion, worshiping your Lord, also as a woman, like how those two intersect. So I kind of find those kind of communities very uplifting, very supporting, and also helpful in the context of developing yourself as a woman and also developing yourself as a better Muslim.
Interesting. That's a good call out. And to be honest, if I had to weigh or chip in on that, like even just removing the woman bit out of it, just in Muslim community, the thing that comes to my mind is there should be the remembrance of Allah in that gathering. Like it's been a thing. I don't know if I told you this, but I was thinking about, you know, some of the hosting we've done in the past, and I look at it and I see that, you know, we come together, we talk, chat, and Allah forgive us the one that we you know. And I asked myself, right, like, did we actually remember our creator in this time? Did we actually remind ourselves of what we should be doing? Did we encourage ourselves in the line of what Allah wants from us? And do we even realize that when we are part of gatherings, Allah is going to ask us, like, you know, what were you doing there? What was the content of this gathering? Was there aramity going on? You know, in that gathering? So this is a new lens for me to kind of even think about a gathering, because I mean, you just want to hang out with your friends, right? You're cool, you vibe with each other. But it is so much more than that when you put the Muslim lens into it, right? And if I zoom in further and I say, like, a woman, like, as you said, there are some topics that I personally wouldn't feel comfortable just
mentioning a larger gathering, yeah.
mentioning, maybe in the past, but now it just feels like it's not tactful to raise some things. And so these are the avenues where I feel comfortable, and I know that it's a quote unquote safe space for me to actually air out my concerns, my thoughts, and actually get feedback from people as similar to myself. Right. So I guess that would be the way, or the extra thing for me, like the way I personally see things when it comes to like Muslim communities.
Yeah. Yeah.
To zigzag a bit, like, how many of those communities are you a part of? Or how many groups would you say specifically caters to you as a Muslim woman?
If I look back growing up, one of the things I struggled with, well, not necessarily struggled with, but one of the things that I wish I had more growing up was actual more Muslim friends, even Muslim female friends. Growing up, most of my friends were usually boys. Like growing up,
Were you one of those tomboys?
I actually wasn't. Even till now, if I even look at my crop of current friends, I would even be more skewed to say I have 60% more male than female friends. But that's something I'm actually working on to get better at. But yeah, like I was saying, like growing up, I didn't exactly have a lot of Muslim um female friends. But I think the turning point was when I joined Pretty Grey, and
Mm,
I had to move from Lagos to Ife for school. So
yeah.
in my hostel then we had, in the room opposite my room, we had a lot of Muslim girls. So one thing we consciously did was we always waking up ourselves for Salah. During Ramadan we always cooking iftar and sahur together. So from there was developing that sense of Muslim community, that it
Mm,
became something I became more passionate about from that.
mm.
So if I
So
look
were
at
you
from
like
Mhm,
always trying to talk to people, or like how did it evolve? Like, because if I'm
mhm,
thinking about myself as a teenager, for
mhm,
example, I wasn't the most extroverted person.
mm,
So how do you think maybe even your personality factored into you being able to make friends and
that
be part of it?
community. Yeah, I won't say I'm an introvert. I'm definitely not an introvert. So, but I won't say I'm the kind of person that will just go with any person to say hi. I just start.
So what were your like
So,
moves? Well,
so
how did you do
mhm.
it?
Yeah. So, like I said, the starting point was we were in the same hostel together. So
Mm.
you would see you're a Muslim, you're a
Hi,
Muslim.
hi,
And
yeah.
we're always meeting at where we used to observe Salah. So from there conversation started, and we even found out that some of us were in similar departments. So
Mm.
from there those conversations started. So it's then zoomed out from conversations around Solar to conversations around classes, conversations around like career discussions and all of that. So from there that kind of community and that relationship started growing up. So I think that's how that went. Then if
Mm.
I look at it from the pre-degree part, some of the friendships and that relationships went on into OAU when we get admission to OAU. Then
Mm.
in OAU also in within the class we had Muslims in your class. So we usually have
Yeah.
like meetings sort of to just discuss, okay, maybe tutorials. Even there were some cases where I did tutorials for like Muslim students in my class. So
Mm.
that again is also another sense of relationship. And there were also times when we had prayer times between classes. So that
Yeah.
sense of going together with your classmates to go observe Salah, coming back into class and everybody knows, okay, they probably went to pray. So again, that was that sense of community. I think what the community part gives you, and if you're able to quickly identify, try to recognize the communities that exist in your environment, would be that sense of solidarity, and so it will make things easy for you. So for instance, you go pray Solar when between your break between classes. If you go alone and if you go as a group, by the time you're coming back, if you're coming back alone, there's a different vibe you get versus when you're coming back with your fellow Muslim
Yes.
students. So,
Yeah.
Mariam went to praise, or the Muslims in the class went to pray, that kind of stuff. So I think
Yeah.
that's one thing that community would also like afford want. So that sense of solidarity. Yeah. What was the question you asked me initially?
Even I've lost my question. I think my question was around like, how many of those types of groups are you?
That I am currently now. So there's the our Oniyat community.
On that.
Yeah. And there's also so in at work, we have
Okay.
Muslims at so like there's this affinity group that exists at work.
Mm-hmm.
Then even outside of there's also the one we are trying to do. So me, Mariam,
The pure heart.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
there's also
Even though I'm looking at some of
all
some
of
of the
us.
people in that group, I don't have
Yeah,
even put time yet. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
So
Sounds like you're part of a fair number of groups then.
yeah.
So yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
How about you?
So for me, if I think about groups for women and Muslims, I'm probably in all the ones you've mentioned. And then we talked about this camp that I attended recently. So I don't like participate in all of the programs, but there's like a group of women from that platform as well. And they actually do programs like every weekend, and you can join if you want. They talk about the Sira, they talk about faith, a lot of things. So I would say I'm one leg in, one leg out of them. But yeah, in my view, I definitely feel like the groups we have right now, outside of the ones we've talked about, I'm in a group with, I'm in a lot of group of trios. Let me put it that way, where we talk about, you get what I mean? And so for me, it's like, if one group is even not vibrant or something like that at a particular time, then probably the other group is vibrant and like the slack is very picked up, and
So
I don't feel alone. I don't feel like there's no one I can talk to. So the reason why I was asking you earlier about, how did you make friends? It's like when you're younger and depending on where you are in school, like if you're schooling here, the numbers might be a bit lower, right?
yeah.
Like you might not have so many people like you. So like you said, there is so much to be said for solidarity. So I remember when I first started working in Nigeria with a company called Abzone, right? I had met one of my good friends now, Aisha, in the company. Then there was one of my seniors from Unilag, Amina, who had also started working there. And Aisha and I were on the same team, and she kind of took me under her wing, and like she was looking out for me.
Yeah.
And because I'm the type of person that worries a lot, she was helping me to come to terms with a lot of things about work. And beyond that, right, we would talk about so many different things, career-wise, and we would pray together. Like,
Yeah.
so I can't begin to tell you how it felt like, Aisha, Anifah, the crew of quote unquote Elijah's in the company. And there was just that level of comfort in the company, and it was so nice, right?
Yeah.
And when I moved here, it was actually one of the things I missed, because even though there were Muslims in my company, there weren't like Black Muslims who were working close to me at the time. Then I also had this group of people from Africa who had come to work here, but none of them were Muslims. And it always felt like, okay, to be a part of the gathering, to be a part of the group, I had to kind of hang some aspects of my personality, or there would be some things that I wouldn't go for, because I just don't feel like it's not really me, and it's not what I want to be doing with my time. So honestly, what you touched on about solidarity and just like that comfort is very important. And what I would always recommend to people, even generally, even when people are not exactly like you, like there's always something common, and it would do you a world of good to just say hello, just say hi, just smile at people. I remember one of the things I found jarring again when I moved here was, in Nigeria, how when you see a Muslim like you just say Salam alaikum. And I remember when I moved here, I would just say Salam alaikum to other Muslims, and they would just stare at you like they could not
In
hear.
Dubai, like I was, oh my god! Somebody actually even still posted it recently. She's Nigerian.
I don't know if
She
there
moved.
is a different school of thought with the people. Maybe this is something I need to find out. But it was so jarring for me,
Mhm.
and for a long time, I went back into my shell of like, myself, I'm
Not
not going
saying
to.
exactly, not
Listen,
saying
I don't
I.
know, but is it that something is like, am I not saying it correctly?
Yeah,
Back to the point I was trying to make is that when you find yourself in a new place or a new environment, like, take your time. Please don't be the type of person that will be jumping, hopping up and down.
yeah,
Fine, if you're that kind of person, go for it. But if you like to be a bit calmer or a bit more relaxed with your approach, like, make sure even though you are not like forcing yourself on people, you are open to like, oh hi, hello, how was your weekend? Before you know it, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months go by, you're friends with these people, especially if these are people that you have something in common, like, oh, you're both Muslims, or you're both from Africa, or you're both from Nigeria, or their parents are African. Like, there is always something, or there are women like you, or they like to read books, so again, finding your community is not something that you can be totally passive with. Granted, it's not like you want to be all up in people's faces all the time,
yeah,
but you still have to be somewhat deliberate about the crowd you're picking up or the people that you're trying to get close to. Otherwise, what does that say about you? Like, you're not thinking about the company you keep, right? As
yeah.
Muslims, you have to think about the company you keep because Allah will ask you all these things. So just wanted to make that point quickly.
Yeah, the example of the Aisha walk you mentioned, and just to like just jump at the moments I've have had that strong sense of community. So Tawa, you know Tawa, right? So I met Tawa actually in NYC camp, even though Tawa graduated from Unilag Economics, and I
Yeah.
had friends in Unilag Economics. So I'm just going to
So you
paint
guys
it.
never knew each
We
other.
never knew each other outside of like during school. So I just
Mm-hmm.
want to show you kind of like a circle moment from that. So I went Tower in NYC women, and that one it was okay. I think we're in the same. Were we in the same platoon? I can't remember anymore. But I know I saw her and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is somebody that I know how NYC camp can be notorious for people wearing hijab, like all these either those soldiers
Oh my God.
want
Oh,
to single you out for why you wearing long whatever or you're wearing long whatever. So immediately I saw that, I was like, okay, let's be doing twins.
yeah.
So we used to go to mosques together, we used to pray together and all of that, hang out together. Then I remember actually during NYC, Tawa had randomly mentioned that she was interning at one company called PRG. So to relate it back to the episode where I talk about my PRG story, my PRG story
Yeah.
actually sort of started there even before the LinkedIn post. So she just
Wow.
mentioned she was working at PRG and I'm like, oh wow, what do you do? She said she's in sales and whatever. And we just randomly talked about it. I'm like, yeah. And she mentioned PNG was paying well for NYC. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool, nice. I'm
Yeah.
also doing well where I'm like, we just kind of randomly just touched that. Then after we left NYC camp, then fast forward to when I did the LinkedIn post and
Mm-hmm.
when I was waiting for that interview, I had messaged her to say, oh, I'm actually coming to you guys' office because I have an interview
Mm.
and all of that.
So,
So
sorry, let me cut you short there. So
yeah,
for those of you people that you will hide everything, hide everything.
you will not give
You
up
see
there.
now. Oh, you see now? Okay.
So yeah, and when I got there and the whole conversation on okay, we wanted to join us and all that, I think that was one of the reasons why that decision was easier for me to make because one, she had given P&G a very good rep. Oh, they are good, they pay well, like it's an
Mm.
American company, it's not your typical Nigerian work culture, blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, fine, that was good. And when I then eventually joined, that was like that sense of community of knowing that Tara was in the same company as well. So we
Mm.
usually have lunch together. We were actually three. there were two Mariams, then Tawa.
Love it.
So
Love
exactly.
it.
So we would go pray together. We would, rant together, vent together to each other about everything we are going through. So there was that huge sense of community, even at that. The circle moment I wanted to trace back is Tawa's husband. I knew Tawa's husband before Tawa. My husband knew Tawa's husband before I knew Tawa's husband. So there's that huge community of somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and then now today all of us are kind of now within the same circle. So that's another sense of how like having that sort of strong sense of community eventually can kind of help. Because I mean, Tawa was one of the reasons why when I made the PNG decision was easier for me to make. And even when I then got into PNG, it was also easier for me to my day-to-day for it to be easier because I had somebody that kind of looked like me in the company. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
So yeah, we've been talking about all the good parts, right? Like, what are some of the challenges that you've actually encountered in, trying to build these relationships with people or trying to be a part of the community? Like, what have you seen? What doesn't work well?
I think the major issue, and you definitely agree with me, is when people start the community and for some reason you then figure out along the way that you guys are probably not on the same wavelength. So you are like, yes, let's hang out, let's do this together. And there's somebody who is probably thinking why or not putting in that much effort into why that should be. I used to be like that actually. Not necessarily, so I'm very outgoing and I want to be we are outside and all of that. But in terms of that actual deep connection and deep relationship, it got to a point. There was a year when I did a thing where that day I can't remember what prompted me, but I just started calling my friends randomly. And for the first five people I called, immediately they picked it. The first thing they would say is, Mariam, you're
They were
calling me.
shocked.
Yeah,
Wow,
like that. I'm calling.
wow.
That year I was like,
Am I bad?
I'm not exaggerating. Like the first person was like, what's up? Like, you're actually calling me. The second person, the third person, the fourth person. So that was there. I was like, okay, yeah, I think I need to step up my cookies and actually put in more effort from my end as well. I've had something about somebody, I think it's on the podcast I had this, that friendship is a two-way thing. Like you have to
Two-way street.
yeah, you have to you have to give and you have to receive. Like you can't expect to be receiving and you not giving. I think similar applies to community, right? You can't just wait for somebody would plan something. How about you to step up and say, how about we do this, or suggest something, or try to see how you can contribute to that community building.
Yeah, I think first of all, it's always good to know your own strengths as a person, right? So I personally, there are some things I just suck at, and I've never tried to be like do it. But one thing I would always do is like I try to check in on my friends as much as I can, and like if I ask you how are you, if you tell me you're fine, I didn't really like. I want to know what's happening, and I think even I didn't know like consciously this is how I am until there was something I was doing one time that some of my friends started talking about it, and I was like, flabbergasted that wow, so this is me. Like you get what I mean, and to me, I'm a very no nonsense type of person, and I wouldn't say I'm the softest person. It felt very heartwarming that my friends saw the effort I was making, and they were like, "Oh no, actually, Anifah, you might not have all the time in the world, like to talk 247 or every day,
but when you
but when
do,
we talk, like
actually meaningful.
I feel heard and I feel seen, and I was like, hey, this is it." So for me, it's like understand your strengths as a person and figure out how you can show up for people or your community in a way that's like you're not killing yourself to do that thing, right? So, for example, if I like some of the hangouts that we've done, I remember there was a time where, I'll be worried about, I want to poke, I want to watch people. Someone suggested potluck version one time, and we
Yeah.
just ran with that, right? And I remember we've also done something where we just went to brunch together. Like we literally did not go to anyone's house. You don't have to worry about, oh,
That
let me clean the old house.
hosting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I would say like generally I echo your thoughts on, it's hard when you are putting in all the effort and people are being disengaged.
Yeah.
But me, I would always be pro. Hey, the people that are engaged, let us continue to be engaged. And the people that are disengaged, let's try once in a while to check in on them and make sure that actually it's a case of just them being disengaged and not
And
something else,
not going
right?
through.
Because we're all
Yeah.
different. Like someone
Mm-hmm.
like me, for example, when it's small thing has happened, I just want to announce to my crew, the people that will hear me complain all the time, right? Some people are not like that. Some people take more time to internalize things and you kind of have to check on that. So
Yeah.
again, just being a bit more humane in like your approach of, oh, not saying this one, that's how they always
There
do.
is to, yeah.
Yeah, check in. Though there are some people that's how they always do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
don't cut people off or don't exclude people, at the very first opportunity. We need to be more soft with ourselves, right? Like life is tough enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's one part I want us to talk about, right?
Okay.
So I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, right, my mom had a crew and they were like us, like they were very lucky in the sense that my mom had a friends who they went to like secondary school together
Yeah.
in the same like so many of them would still come around the same environment. And that time I used to look at it down. Where are these people in our house? Like they're just here,
Yeah.
they're just shouting.
My dad has a community of friends called Friendship Circle.
Love it.
These people have been friends since secondary school back in
Okay.
saying, and
Yeah.
they do every 3 months they
Yeah.
actually like they do meetings where they go to, it's actually a very structured thing. Like one
Do
person
you
is
know
going to
what?
one
I
person
swear to my mom old school student, they were there.
yeah,
They
like
were there.
one
I think
person is going to host. They
yeah.
print out minutes of meetings. I'm serious. Is
Love
that is
it.
as structured
Love it.
as that? So I think it has evolved. So because they all grew together, so everybody's in like different aspect of life. So people that are into finance, into investing. So at the end of the day, it's now more than just a friendship group. It's also a community of helping each other grow. So
Mm,
like if somebody's going through challenges, probably financial challenges, they will see how they can come through. If somebody's going through this, they'll see how they can come through. If someone needs advice. I'm serious, it's super structured like that. I used to kind of like envy him because that's like your gist for life, literally. Like you guys are
So
just
you loved it when those people would come around as kids.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
had beef with them, or to me, they were going to disturb my peace in the house. So that's the reason why I asked. Because our parents were like our very first examples of
Mm-hmm.
people who used to like pack people up, and then people are always
Yeah.
coming around, they're always going for each other's parties. And the point I wanted to bring out was like, if there was one thing we could learn from, how the older generation handle their relationships and say, like, this one I want to imbibe,
Mm.
what is that thing you think you're going to pick?
I think there's also the bit of where, in terms of geographical proximity, our own dynamic is not different from their own. So, like I said, they grew up together in a saying when they were moving to Lagos, all of them literally
We
moved to
all
Lagos
moved to
at the same
Lagos
time.
together.
Yeah, so most of them are based in Lagos. It's just a thing of even if you want to go visit another person, it's a thing of
That's like
or
a story
yeah,
to
just
die
coming
there.
to exactly. So, but our own dynamics is different because I have a friend. I'm here in UK. I have a friend in Dubai. I have a friend in Poland. I have a friend. Okay, so how do we connect and all of that? But for the ones that are within my proximity, I think if there's something I would imbibe from them is, and I'm actually conscious. That's part of my 2024. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been trying to visit people more. That art of visiting people, just go to someone's house and say hello, yeah, and just show up on their door and say, I also agree
This
too.
is one of the things I love my husband. Like I
Oh my
admire.
god, yes. He's one example of somebody that does that. Yeah. Yes, on Sunday when we came to you guys' house, it was literally a conversation of okay, we actually need to, because if you look at the proportion of who has gone to which person
So we
house
are
the
winning it.
most, you guys are winning. So we need to step up our cookies and
Love it.
also show up as well. So yeah.
Love
I
it.
think I
Love
think
it.
that showing up and that intentionality in terms of checking up and keeping the relationship as well. Yeah.
That makes sense. One thing you said earlier about like you have friends in Nigeria, and do you think online can never be the same as actually being physical?
It can't. It
Do
cannot.
you know, some years ago I would have disagreed, but I think
You
right now,
agree?
I when I say disagree, I mean I would have said, oh no, you can still be like, even when you have long distance
Mm-hmm.
friendship, you need to have a kind of support, so to speak. Let me put it that way.
Exactly.
So I think if
Exactly.
you say, okay, I saw my friend when last I went to Nigeria, you hold that there, it's in your heart, and then you continue to maintain it online. But the moment you're like 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years,
Mm.
even, it's hard.
Yeah.
The context is so, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just going to say, like, if anyone has like thoughts on that online,
No,
like you
exactly. I
mentioned.
was going. That was what I was going to share on. So when I again for 2024, one of my goals for 2024 was me being intentional about my friendships. At least the little ones I still have, because like let me still keep the little friendships I still have. So one thing I did was Snapchat streaking with my friends.
I
So
don't
I don't
even
know if
know
you
what
know
that is.
exactly.
What?
You also know Gen Z.
Please,
So
please, I'm too
Snapchat,
old.
so Snapchat streak is, you know how Snapchat works, right? Do you know how Snapchat
Girl,
works?
please don't
Oh my
embarrass me with this
god! So
question.
Snapchat is basically you sending snaps, which is basically photos or
Mhm.
pictures, basically. So
Yeah.
Snapchat streak is where you every day you send um pictures or just pictures or videos to your friend. So me
Yeah.
and you will be streaking every day. So I send you pictures, you send me pictures. So it could literally be the most random things. Most days I snap Tariq,
So
most days
that's how
I
you
so
keep
yeah,
the
that's how exactly that's how we keep the vibe going. But exactly, so we go streaking and all that. And I've actually, if I show you my Snapchat now, my streaks are actually very good. There's only one person I've lost streak with, and that was because she was ill or something
God.
at the time. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So in terms of how to keep that online, but actually where geographical proximity is not possible. I think yeah, there could be some tools to
Okay.
leverage on that.
Me, I cannot speak, but
Streak.
maybe I can be sending voice notes every to them. I think I can do voice notes. Anyway, as a kind of final, because I know this one has gone longer, but it's a topic that clearly we care about. I would say, like, what kind of community do you hope to build
Hmm.
or be a part of in the future? And
Yeah.
then what steps are you, actively taking to work towards that?
Yeah, actually that's the notification that just entered my phone now. I think the community we are building with this we need a new name, even though we've not figured out the name yet. So I think it's a very good one because one, all of us are kind of somehow in the same phase of life. So newly married, just giving birth, about to give birth. We have
Mm-hmm.
like similar themes around problems or issues we're trying to navigate in life. So things around giving birth, how does childbearing or child raising and everything work? Also the context of being better as a Muslim woman, like what are the steps we are taking to improve on our that. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
also something. So if I look at that, I think that's one I'll be very committed and passionate about building. Yeah, exactly, because there's a whole lot more that we can learn from ourselves. And also by the time we start like the community start having kids, like you would want to have that community of like-minded people so you can eventually grow as a community. Or
Even
also
your
in the
kids will
context of,
have like
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
like an already made.
Exactly. So I think that would be it. There's the one we are also doing with pure arts is also good. So having that community of friends where you can be like accountability partners for yourself.
Do you know what I want the next level for the
Pure
groups to
arts,
be?
yeah.
Everything you said, I echo. One other thing I want is I want us to figure out how to make money together. Because
Okay.
that is so even you and I doing this podcast, for example, I think it's brought us closer in a way.
Yeah.
I'm even really looking forward to when we actually set up our proper recording studio and start like, being actual.
Inshallah.
Yeah, may Allah keep us beyond then.
I
So
mean,
if we can do this together, I don't see how with all our big brains
we
in that
can't
group,
do
we
bigger
can't
things
do
together.
business together or come up with find a way to make money together. Like,
Yeah.
when I think about all successful people, right? You see, oh, my friend and I co-founder, that's where it starts. So yeah, everything you said, echo.
Let's take up our cookies.
Let's talk about cookies. And this is an example I want to give. So when me, my friend Mariam, Isiwat, and Anisat were in final year in Unilag, we actually built like a web platform for ticketing at the time, which was used by a program called, I think it was called Essence Fest or something. I can't really remember the name. But that was when I learned how to use like WordPress, game stuff, payment gateways.
Nice.
We made money from that thing, right? I don't even know why we benched it. Point shall being that like I'm still friends with all of these people. Like Anita was here some weeks ago and we went to do one golfing thing. I talk to Isiwat all the time. Mariam, I see her all the time, literally. So it's like bonds are forged from doing
This
things
from, yeah.
together. So we all go to work, we all do something that brings money. So what better than making money together, right? And to move away from like the money aspect, it's also like acts of worship, right? When we do
Yeah.
acts of worship together as friends, which is why
Yeah, I really loved Umrah, December Umrah. Like
yes,
that was super
I
fun.
want to go again. I want to do like
That was
it.
super fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So doing acts of worship together, and again, whenever we gather, even if it's like banter gathering, making sure that we remember Allah. Those are the things that keep us steadfast and keep us on the team. So for me, I
Yeah,
think that's
right.
the only thing I'll add to it, that do everything together, make money together, worship together, smile together, laugh together, and the community just becomes a whole lot stronger. Yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap up. I had a couple of places I wanted to take this to actually, because I was interested in the side of even from the male perspective, but maybe we need to actually bring a male guest to talk about this, because
Yeah.
I think they approach friendships a lot
Different,
differently.
a
Like
whole
it's
lot.
too.
Everybody is their friend. In fact, I think they use the word friendship
Oh
loosely.
my god,
So
it's something else. I think we actually need to invite a family podcast after conversation. So we're going to bench it. But yeah, to our listeners, thank you again for hanging with us. Think about it. Are you part of it? Are you part of a community? Online, offline. How have you found it so far? How are you showing up? How are you feeding into people? What parts do you enjoy or not enjoy? Think about how you can model the behavior you actually want to see. Mariam, do you have any last remarks, or are we good to go?
yeah, I think you pretty much said it. So as usual, don't forget to share the podcast. Share, like
Share,
what you say.
like, subscribe. Guys, if you want to see videos of me trying to learn how to ride a bike, share, like,
Yeah.
Wow, I was struggling. Oh my god. I still don't know how to balance, but I know I will get there. I'll give you reports in the next episode.
All right.
All right. Bye. Till next time.